Welcome to the Way to Build Wealth. I'm Ethan Bloch, and let's learn how to build some wealth. It's episode number 9. It's a Monday. Hope you had a great weekend, and welcome to the show. I'm gonna say before I even start diving into the show, written right up here, go see Quantum of Solace, new Bond flick. Got in on a showing of the movie on Friday, thanks to Tim Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Workweek. He basically sponsored an entire theater with American Apparel, so it was all free tickets for anyone who had signed up. So I got to check out the movie, really enjoyed it. I'm not going to say any more about it, but it's definitely good, entertaining, and go have some fun and watch it. So today's episode, as you can see from the title, hopefully right up above, is what type of investor do you want to become? You know, right now you could also say what type of investor are you, but we're not really going to pay any attention to what type of investor you are because you're watching this show to learn how to build some wealth. So we want to find out what type of investor do you want to become. Now there's probably hundreds of classifications I could come up with and pull out of the sky and say, you know, you're going to be this type of investor, you're going to be this type of investor. But to make it really simple, we're going to take all worlds of investor classes and do just 3, or break them into just 3. And I've written a post on the Way to Build Wealth earlier when we first started this blog, which I'm going to link up down there, which you can read, which will go into more detail about each class and give you, some more information to make that decision. But I'm going to briefly touch over them here and then tell you, what we're going to cover over the next several episodes. So the 3 investor classes that we're going to focus on, I guess what we will focus on are the passive investor, the enterprising investor, and the hybrid investor. So let's start with the passive investor. The passive investor is someone who who solely invests in index funds. You don't do any of your own investment research because you don't have to. You don't care about doing investment research. You're confident, which you should be, in investing your money in index funds. And then, as I said earlier, you joyfully or sorrowfully, more or less most of the time, ride the waves of the market and you just profit off of American corporations' profits or international companies' profits. But if companies do good, you do good. If companies do bad, you do bad. That's it. That's passive investing. What's so funny? Well, I'm trying to learn how to speak correctly. So I've been saying, you do good, you do good, you do well. You do well. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. Next investor class is the enterprising investor. Now, here's a guy who consistently tries to beat the market. Let me re-say that. The enterprising investor works their butt off to beat the return of the market. And when I use the return of the market, I'm talking about the broad-based total U.S. stock market, all 4,700 and change American publicly traded corporations. Enterprising investor, as I just said, boatloads of homework, tons of research. I mean, you're diving into annual reports, 10Ks, 10Qs, 8Ks. I mean, you might not even know what that stuff is. We're going to talk about it later. But you're diving into this stuff. You can't get enough of it because you're trying to find a deal or a bargain that other people aren't seeing in the market, so you can profit off of that bargain and hopefully beat the market. And you might do this for a few years. You might do it for 10, doubtful. You might do it for a lifetime, even more doubtful, aka like Warren Buffett style. I'm like getting off on a segue here. Epic investor, and we're going to cover him. Greatest investor of all time, arguably. But don't chase Warren Buffett's performance. It's probably unrealistic for the average person. I mean, that's his full-time job for what now, 65 years? I bet you have a full-time job outside of finance, not to mention a family to look after potentially, or if you're in college, you got school, and you got to have fun and party. Getting off topic. Enterprising investor, pretty much no one watching this show right now is going to pursue the enterprising investing approach. If you are pursuing that, stop right now, save your money and your time, and keep watching more of this and the books that I recommend read, and build up a knowledge base or build the tools to be able to potentially pursue an enterprising approach down the road. But for now, it's not good. I should have said this before. Passive investing approach right now, anyone watching this is probably the best, not probably, is the best investment approach you can make. Thirdly, third investment approach, and you could probably already write this one and tell me what it's going to be, the hybrid approach. And the hybrid approach is a mix of the passive investor and the enterprising investor. And the main name of the game here is you pursue a passive investment approach, meaning an index fund, indexing approach towards investing. I do this too much probably. An index investing approach. And while you're doing that, you're constantly educating yourself, learning accounting principles, learning business principles, learning multiple mental models that you're going to use to assess the prospects of businesses. You're learning this stuff so, further down the road, you can start placing investments in individual businesses, okay? But before you buy individual businesses, the core or all of your holdings are in index funds. And the better you get, more confident you get in your investing intellect, you'll slowly allocate more of your dollars towards investing in these businesses that you found to hopefully be good investments. Be well or be good. That was good, right? I'm good. Good. Hopefully will be good investments and taking some of that money out of your passive investment approach. Enterprising and hybrid, we're going to talk about a whole lot more way further down the road. For now, on the way to build wealth, we're going to be focusing on the passive investment approach, what you need to know to be a passive investor, or better yet, what you need to know to be a successful passive investor, the tools of the trade, the hacks, the tips, best practices. That's what we're doing right now, and we're going to mix in, book reviews, other things, maybe have some interviews, have some people come on the show, talk to them about investing, whether they're investment professionals or just typical people like you and me. Yeah, that sounds right. As well as doing, what other types of stuff we do on the show, Tim? We're doing interviews, we're doing book reviews. We're going to be talking about the people in investing, names you should know coming up. But mainly the main theme for now is going to be passive investment. Stay tuned. We're going to be getting into a whole lot more this week covering that. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.